It's been one of those days.
There's nothing wrong with your video feed. I was on mute. Welcome. And I had the greatest tagline. I said, welcome to Holiday Treat Edition 2022. This is amazing. Anyway, so glad you could join me on Trail Talk this afternoon here at the Chisholm Trail Heritage Center in Duncan, Oklahoma. I'm going to show you the treats we're going to make today. So I was showing you this one. It looks like a little one of those haystacks, but it's actually pretzels and crushed up peppermint with almond bark on it. Yum, yum. These are Rice Krispie treats that are just kind of dipped in some white almond bark with cute Christmassy winter sprinkles on them. These are very cute little candy cane reindeer. You can see by the little red nose. I know he doesn't have any antlers, but still very cute. If you can find them, I couldn't. You can put little lollipop sticks on this and it looks really cute. And then I've got some peppermint sandwich cookie, kind of Oreo style cookie balls here. And you can see Coco, who's joining me today. You guys might recognize Coco from On the Go with Coco, our December hashtag that we're having a lot of fun with around here. He made a little snowman, and way to give the old college try, Coco. It's a little different from the one that we promoted this episode with, but we're going to try. I'm going to see if I can outdo Coco on the Oreo ball snowman. So I'm actually going to start with that project first while my white almond bark, I just, just the plain old almond bark that you break the big square chunks off of, you melt it until it's a very smooth consistency. These Oreo balls they're multiple sizes. I did it like that on purpose because I was going to make different like snowmen, but you can see I have kind of larger ones, smaller ones, kind of a middle-sized one here. So anyway, they are so easy to make. I made 18 of these, which is, I thought, quite a few. I made half a recipe, and it took, 18 Oreos and 4 ounces of cream cheese. You just put the cream cheese out, set it to room temperature, run those cookies through a food processor until they're just crumbs. I mean, you don't take the filling out or anything, just toss the whole cookie in there and then mix it all up and roll it into balls. Then you freeze them. That's the key, is you freeze them and let them get set. And so I'm going to dip. Let's see, this is my snowman thing. So I took one of the big ones and I'm going to kind of roll it around in here, and same thing's happening that I think happened with Coco. I think that's going to be my go-to thing. So I'm just going to kind of roll that off of here. Try not to disrupt it too much there. It looks a little rough on the back, but this almond bark, I mean, another thing is that I'm doing this in a room that's not where the almond bark stuff is. Now this small one, because it's going to be the head, I'm going to, the instructions actually say to use a fork. And another thing, some of the recipes I read, this guy's a little smoother, said to use like white chips, like white chocolate chips. So I'm going to try something a little different than what I did before. Okay, I found these very cute. These were at Walmart, just this little bag, and it's like little snowman pieces. It's little black balls that you can use like for coal, and then these little carrots and their candies. Very, very cute. So I'm going to do my snowman face here while it's laying flat and allow that to set just a little bit to see if it will kind of set up, because I can always put a little more on there and try to get that to stay on top. So we're going to let that set for a few minutes until I can pick it up and touch it. And then I've got a little hat and a scarf to put on it. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside for right now. And we're going to work on these little super cute candy cane reindeer. And I'm going to do them on the foil because they just, because of how they set up. So you just take your 2 tiny candy canes. Might need to zoom on this just a little bit for me there, Emery. So you just take your 2 candy canes and kind of lay them like that, where they make a heart, which is kind of super cute anyway. Then you take this is chocolate almond bark that I've just melted in the microwave, and you just fill in the center part. This is nice and runny, and just kind of smooth it out a little bit. Take it all the way to the edges. Now this takes a little time to set up. And I'll be honest with you, when I made them at home, I actually put them in the refrigerator for like 2 minutes, and they set up all the way very quickly. But we may just leave them out. Anyway, while they're doing that, while they're setting there, you just take a big fat red M&M. Now okay, you know what? No problem, that M&M flipped over, not like I wanted it to. So I've got some toothpicks here. And well, that's making a little bit of a mess. So I'm going to take him right here. I'm going to take another M&M. So here's a secret that you can do. So how I've got that chocolate on there, what you can actually do is wait until it sets up all the way, and you can flip it over and use some more almond bark and just glue those little pieces on there. But I'm going to go ahead and drop the eyes on there. These are just little, I'll wait till I show you where I got these little eyes. This is very cute too. Let's see, I've got some paper towels here. So just like the little snowmen things, this was also at Walmart, and they have little candy eyeballs and then little red and black balls that you can use like on a reindeer nose if you wanted to. If you were going to make like an Oreo ball reindeer, you know what? I can do that. I can make one just like what is on here. One moment, and I will do that for us because I have this Oreo cookie ball. Now I'm going to tell y'all, I used gluten-free. I used Trader Joe's gluten-free JoJo's is what they called their sandwich cookies. I'm just going to put him right over here. They were they're really, really good. Or Oreo makes a nice gluten-free if you wanted to just do plain gluten-free. So I'm used to use the candies for, gonna have to wipe that eyeball off. They only had plain, but I did see a recipe where you could use you could use regular Oreos and add a tiny bit of peppermint extract to the cream cheese and Oreo cookie mixture. So that is an option also if you wanted to try that. So now I've got to get the tape off where I sealed up the eyeball so I can get it back up out, because that chocolate made my eyeball have a spot on it, and I'm going to use this. That chocolate set up quickly. Okay, so it's set up. So here's what you do. You just get a little daub of the melted and put it on the back, and then it will stay. And then I'm going to take one of the little noses out of this thing, just one of the little black noses, because we already have Rudolphs, don't we? We'll just make little blitz in here. And I'll need a little bit of the melted chocolate for that. A little dot on there. Put that on for a nose. And then these pretzels that I have, they really just, oh, look at that, just broke the pretzel. And then you just shove it inside there. Okay, note to self, you want to do it before the chocolate sets up because it kind of cracked, but it's still kind of cute. I think you get the idea. He's kind of cute. He kind of looks like a mouse though, doesn't he? The way those look. So there's another idea. You can make a little mouse. So anyway, I'm just kind of showing you guys a whole lot of different ideas, but the gluten-free, if your family's gluten-free, these are gluten-free pretzels also, which make really, they're super crispy. I don't know why, but we'll go on and we'll kind of work on these little haystack looking things. Anyway, I just snapped the pretzels apart. You can hear how crispy they are. I don't know, gluten-free things sometimes are extra crispy. I don't know why. And anyway, then I just took these little Brock individually wrapped peppermints and I'm just smashing them with a wooden spoon. Just kind of see something vibrate and it's making a weird noise over here. That's what distracted me. So anyway, then you just open your package and you just dump your little crushed peppermint on top of the pretzels that you've crushed up here. And then just going to pour some of this chocolate on here. These are so easy. And I don't even have exact measurements, but you just break some up and pour out enough chocolate to hold it together. And so it's all kind of covered in the chocolate. It looks like I might want to add just a tiny bit more. I got to kind of work fast today because I don't have a microwave handy to remelt my almond bark, and you can see how fast it sets up. Anyway, you just kind of stir it all together and then just drop it out onto your, I like to use foil. Everything just peels right off of the foil once it's set up. It does not stick at all. Some recipes say use parchment paper, but I'm telling you, the foil works just fine. Anyway, and so there you have that. I mean, how much easier could that get, right? So my white almond bark is starting to set up a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and do the Rice Krispies. So this is, again, this is very simple. These are ready-made. I bought them at Walmart. They came in a big old package. There were probably 24 pieces this big in it. And I'm just taking my almond bark and I'm dipping this down in there. Give it a nice little turn till it's covered on one end. I actually had an idea that I was thinking about just kind of covering the top of it a little bit so you can get like more sprinkles on there and see how that would turn out too. So I'm going to do one like that just for fun. Anyway, so you set those over there and then you take your whatever sprinkles. I've got some just your old time non-perial here, little Christmas colors. Those are cute. And then I've also got, oh, here are some red and white candy canes that make a nice festive look. Now here some of them fell, so you can kind of, it's nice and wet still, so you can just kind of pick them up like that. Stick them on there. I mean, could it get any easier than that? I feel like these are like incredibly fast and easy treats to make, but you know, sometimes that's, your kids don't have a long attention span, or you know, you just don't want to spend hours and hours making things. But this is kind of a nice variety. You can experiment, you can do a lot of different things. I've got some more white here. I'm gonna roll another one of these Oreo balls around in the white and turn it out over here with the other ones, these other treats here. And I'm gonna make it nice and see, you can see where some of it came off. So I'm just gonna drizzle some more on there real nice. Yeah, I don't know if you call that nice or not, but anyway, I have this fun colored sugar. So I think I'll just put a little, like a little snowball kind of glistening with that color on it. And maybe I'll roll some around here in this, the brown now. These are, I mean, this is so simple. The only thing that's really very time consuming is letting the cream cheese get to room temperature. Of course, you need to freeze those, but if you have little ones helping you, then, you know, you might, oh, let's see, put a little red sugar, a little red, and maybe some pale green on there. Red didn't show up very good. Here we go. So we got just a nice little festive look there. But littles, you might have to be careful with the, if it's hot, you know, if the, when the chocolate or the almond bark is hot. Okay, now I'm going to attempt to put my sad little snowman's head on his body here because we're not finished with him yet. Okay, I just put some of that wet Oreo, I mean the wet almond bark. Whoops, that's a bad angle. It's gonna be a little trick, y'all. Poor snowman.
Maybe this project just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this is what you call an official Pinterest fail. I tried following the instructions. Now we're getting closer. We're getting closer here. There we go. It's a little closer if you don't look at his back. Now, these are sour belts. One recipe I said I saw you could use red fondant. Red fondant is not something I would normally buy and use. If it's something you buy and use, you know, but these are just sour belts. And I found that you can just start tearing it and it will tear in half the length. That one got a little sideways on me, but you can just go pretty much the length of the candy strip here. And then you have a nice piece to put around his neck. I said I did this. Coco showed me this trick. He's a pretty smart guy, that Coco. Anyway, I mean, look at that. Turned out not too bad. Let me see. Yeah, okay, look, he's not so bad. I've seen worse. I've seen worse. Anyway, we'll put him right over here. Now, I'm going to show you on this reindeer, the one that I kind of got chocolate on the side of it. Okay, it's been sitting here for a while. So I'm going to peel it up. And so you've got a side that's super smooth. But here is where you can come back with a couple more eyeballs and another red M&M for his big red nose. Don't you think the big red nose is the cutest? I do. I looked for those, the peppermint M&Ms because they're a little fatter. And I thought a big fat one would be really cute, but I couldn't find the red and white peppermint ones. So
I didn't even know there were peppermint ones.
Yeah, so anyway, yeah, if one side looks a little messy, just give it a few minutes to set up nicely and put some of your almond bark on there. and smush them down a little bit. And then here you go. So you can make it either way, which I got a little chocolate on that eyeball. Not bad. Anyway, there you go, guys. Here you can see them a little bit better. See, that took no time at all to make those. And I'm going to show you, they just peel right off. Isn't that so cool how that works just so quickly? All of these things are going to peel right off. These are still a little wet, but you'll just leave them until they set up. And I just want to encourage you, try these things. If peppermint is not your thing, I've seen recipes for these cookie balls made out of, like you could you could use like the plain vanilla Oreos. You could use anything. I've seen like sugar cookie balls. I didn't really read the recipe, but I have a feeling it's basically the same. So, check those out. They're all over Pinterest, or you can Google cookie balls, and there's a bazillion different recipes. But I really thought kind of my big takeaways from today, these little candy bag things that the Walmart here in Duncan actually had, that have the snowman body parts and his buttons, the coal and the carrot for the snowman. And then little noses and eyeballs for the reindeer. I thought those were very cute. I had to go to Dollar General to get those peppermints, and there were just a few boxes left, and I could not find any of the small ones at Walmart. So if the little reindeer, that's something you're interested in making, you might need to go ahead and get those. Like I said, I use sour belts for the little Bailey. See how he turned out a little better.
Oh, I watched.
Oh, okay. She caught me throwing shade on Coco for his little Pinterest fail. Anyway, I think you can even keep these Oreo balls in the freezer for a few days if you're not ready, if you want to make them in advance, and then pop them out and let your kids decorate them, because I have a feeling I'm going to sit here and finish rolling these in this almond bark so we can devour them around here. But if anyone has done one of these snowmen and it turned out cute, because like I would not show you the back side of my snowman. It's terrifying. He's a scary snowman, not a nice one. Anyway, or if you know where to get the sucker stick, the lollipop sticks for these, I think you just lay it right there under it before you pour the chocolate on, and then the chocolate would set up and it would be there. And this little guy turned out cute. Like I said, I should have put these little antler-ish things in before he's not that cute, before I let the candy coating set up. But he looks kind of like a little mouse, actually. If I stuck some kind of a tail on him, he'd be kind of a cute mouse. So there's that. So anyway, I hope you guys have fun making holiday treats. If you don't make any of these treats, you know what? It doesn't matter. I had fun making them and sharing them with you. And, it's just all about spending time with family and finding some fun activity that you like to do. And maybe you start a new family tradition by doing that. So you guys keep watching our Facebook page and see what Coco is up to next. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. My special guest is Clay Cole, and he's going to show us the journey through the transformation of the First United Methodist Church nativity scene. It's quite an undertaking, and we have great pictures, and he's going to tell us all about it. So be sure and join us then. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Happy trails.